Good afternoon, everyone. So this is Marco Bobby Falcon, and we are going to discuss about the chapter 7 of the subject Life and Works of Rizal, which is the Noli Tangere. This is Rizal's first novel that he had written, which have ignited the ideals of revolution. So prologue for this reporting. This is all about Noli Tangere. So comprising of 63 chapters and a epilogue, Jose Rizal's novel Noli Tangere expresses the abuses and inequities of many Spanish Catholic friars and government officials during that time. Published in early 1887 in Europe, this novel is commonly known for its shortened name in Spanish, Noli. So, the Latin name for the novel Noli Me Tangere means "Touch Me Not," was taken from Christ's words. Now, we are talking about the synopsis of the Noli Me Tangere. So, the plot revolves around Crisostomo Ibarra, mixed-race heir of a wealthy clan, returning home after 7 years in Europe and filled with ideas on how to better the lot of his countrymen. Striving for reforms, he is confronted by an abusive ec- sorry, ecclesiastical hierarchy and a Spanish civil administration by turns indifferent and cruel. The novel suggests through plot developments that meaningful change in this context is exceedingly difficult, if not impossible. So, a little bit of explanation about this synopsis. So, since this novel is about sparking the Philippine Revolution during during the time of that Jose Rizal, when Philippines was still on the rule of the Spaniards, that because of Rizal's love for his country and for his observations about the maltreatment of his kapwa Filipinos, so he have made an ideal to make a novel in which in fact this will spark the start of the revolution itself. And Crisostomo Ibarra represents the ideal of him also, that he have also studied in abroad, and in the same time he have educated himself in the abroad in order to share the knowledge here in the Philippines. But since there is a parang mahadlok ang Spanish Inquisition, if kung ang mga Filipinos kay magkaroon of ideals and knowledge, so para magkaroon na sila ideal na ato ni ikuan na republic ipa-ignite. Oops. So, the death of Ibarra's father prior to his homecoming and the refusal of a Catholic burial by Padre Damaso, the parish priest, provokes Ibarra on hitting the priest, for which Ibarra is excommunicated. The decree is rescinded, however, when the Governor-General intervenes. The friar and his successor, Padre Salvi, embodied the rotten state of the clergy. Their tangled feelings, one paternal, the other carnal, for Maria Clara, Ibarra's sweetheart, and Captain Tiago's beautiful daughter, steel their determination to spoil Ibarra's plans for a school. The town philosopher Tasio rarely notes similar past attempts have failed, and his sage commentary makes clear that all colonial masters fear an enlightened people will throw off the yoke of impression. So this is what I have explained earlier, that in the context of the novel, Rizal have made this novel in order for his fellow Filipinos or some of his countrymen to have the enlightenment that it must be stopped. The oppression of the Spaniards must stop right now. That is why he have created this novel, signifying himself as the main character, which is Crisostomo Ibarra, that his goal was to build schools and educate his fellow countrymen here in the Philippines, because he have observed that under the rule of the Spanish monarchy, Filipinos that time are being called like mangmang, walang pinag-aralan, like they just simply follow orders and make labor and not excel in any field during that time. Precisely how to accomplish this is the novel's central question, and one Ibarra debates with a mysterious Elias, whose with whose life his is intertwined. The privileged Ibarra favor peaceful means, while Elias, who have suffered injustice at the hands of the authorities, believes violence is the only option. Ibarra's enemies, particularly Salvi, implicate him in a fake insurrection, though the evidence against him is weak. Then Maria Clara betrays him to protect a dark family secret, public exposure of which would be ruinous. Ibarra escapes from prison with Elias and confronts her. Maria Clara explains why he have betrayed Ibarra, and when Maria Clara have explained her reason, Ibarra forgives her, and he and Elias flee to the lake. But they were chased by the Guardia Civil, and there was a hunting that was happened, and in the end, Ibarra have been said presumably died, while Elias have survived. Convinced that Ibarra is dead, Maria Clara enters the nunnery. She have refused a arranged marriage by Padre Damaso. Her unhappy fate and that of the more memorable Sisa, driven mad by the fate of her sons, symbolize the country's condition at once beautiful and miserable. So, all in all, the results Noli Tangere is provoking the ideals that Spanish, during their time of colonizing the Philippines, have become abusive of their power, and Rizal that time wants to awaken or enlighten the Filipinos that we must fight back. We must never be controlled or inaapi by the Spaniards. That is why when he have published this novel, some of his fellow mestizos, his fellow classmates or Spanish dignitaries and government officials have questioned the content of this novel, that there have been comments that this is very absurd, this novel is just strikingly presumptuous or abrasive to the Spaniards. But then there were people who have defended the ideas of Rizal being exemplified in the Noli Me Tangere. There are people like Marcelo H. Del Pilar, who have defended the ideals of the Noli itself, and it will be discussed in the later part, which is about the reactions of the Noli. So, to sum it all up for my part, so Rizal is the main character of this story. The main point of the synopsis is, or the novel, the central theme, maybe it is not really accurate that how does this novel reignite the ideals of the Filipinos to ignite their will to start an opposition to oppress themselves out of the Spanish colonization. And third of all, the characters that are represented here are having their own identities and explanations by which my other group mate will discuss. So next for this is my group mate Malu will discuss about the how Rizal started writing Noli Tangere little by little. So good afternoon and have a good day.
The writing of the novel. It is influenced by Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin, which Jose Rizal planned to publish a book that will reveal the ills of Spanish colonized Philippine society. Rizal had garnered the approval of his companions, the Paternos, Pedro, Maximino, and Antonio, Graciano Lopez Jaina, Valentin Ventura, Eduardo de Leti, Evaristo Aguirre, and Julio Llorente in creating this novel, but afterwards difficulties and objections were raised. His companions were more interested in writing about Spanish women and even spending time in gambling and flirting. Sensing that it was improbable to count on the support of his companions, Rizal started writing alone the novel in Madrid towards the end of the same year and finished about half of it in the city. Leaving for France in year 1885, he had written the third quarter of the novel in Paris. In Wilhelmsfeld, he penned the last few chapters of Noli from April to June year 1886. The novel was completed in Berlin. Germany at the end of the year 1886, and the final draft was ready for publication at the onset of the year 1887. During the transition period between the year 1886 to 1887, Rizal have doubts whether the novel will be published as he have issues when it comes to his own financial needs, and so much for publishing a novel. But then, Dr. Maximo Viola invited him to accompany him in his Europe tour, and he have decided to lend Rizal a money in order to publish 2,000 copies of his novel. For his generous act, Dr. Maximo Viola had fittingly gone down in the Philippine history as the savior of Noli. And as a token of gratitude, the author also gave Dr. Maximo Viola the first copy to come off the press, on which Rizal inscribed a dedication which described Dr. Viola as the first to read and appreciate Rizal's work.
This time I will be discussing the spirits of Noli Me Tangere. As intended, Noli Me Tangere creatively depicts the real conditions of the various aspects of the society of Filipino society under the Spanish regime. Typically, a parody, a lampoon, a satire of the Filipino society under the administration of the colonizers. This was how the characters are described as the inhabitants of the country. For instance, Crisostomo Ibarra represents a small group of Filipino which was given chance to study abroad. Next is Padre Damaso. Padre Damaso corresponds to the representation of the wicked acts of the Spanish priest. Next one is Maria Clara, which was represented as Binibini Leonor Rivera, Jose Rizal's true love, which her character was also responds to the ideals of a Filipina wife, which are loving and unwavering in their loyalty to their spouses. The next one is Captain Tiago or Capitan Tiago, which he represents the rich Filipinos who opted to be an ally of Spanish officials and friars just to maintain their position and wealth. The next one are Sisa, Crispin, and Basilio, which epitomize Filipino family oppressed by the Spanish authorities. Another one is Doña Victorina, which she represents the ambitious Filipinos. Next is Don Tiborcio, on the other hand, stands for the incompetent and unqualified Spaniards who illegally practice their opposed profession in the Philippines. And the last one, is Padre Salve, who was wicked intentions for Maria Clara, which also represents the wickedness of the Spanish friars.
Hello everyone. So now let's proceed to reaction to Noli. So prior to the publication of the Noli Me Tangere, a number of works by Filipino writer from 1882 to 1896 were produced, such as Paterno's novel Ninay, published in Madrid in 1885. Del Pilar's La Soberania Monacal, Barcelona in 1889, Graciano Lopez Hena's Discursos y Artículos Barrios, Barcelona in 1891, and Antonio Luna's Impresiones in Madrid in 1893. Antonio Regidor, one of those who congratulate Rizal for writing and publishing the novel, he said that the book is superior, and if Don Quixote has made its author immortal because he exposed to the world the sufferings of Spain, your Noli Me Tangere will bring you equal glory. Ferdinand Blumentritt became Rizal's friend through correspondence, praised Rizal by saying, "Your work, as we Germans say, has been written with blood and heart. Your work has exceeded my hopes, and I consider myself fortunate and happy to have been honored with your friendship. Not only but your country may feel happy having you, a patriotic and loyal son. If you continue so, you will be to your people